All right, welcome back. This is it, the final part of our deep dive into Ryan Holiday's Ego is the Enemy. And today we are tackling the one thing our ego hates more than anything else: failure.
So the book starts this whole section with this beautifully grim truth. It basically says failure isn't a possibility, it's an inevitability. These black horsemen, they're coming for every single one of us. And you know when they usually show up? Right when things are going great, when we feel totally safe.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to look at what happens when failure shows up uninvited. Then, we'll talk about this huge choice we all have: alive time or dead time. After that, we'll get into why the effort itself is enough. And finally, we'll cover how not to make a bad situation even worse.
So, you know how it goes. Life can just come along and completely wreck your plans. And a perfect, almost unbelievable example of this is Katharine Graham. She's a major figure in this part of the book. I mean, she was born into this world of wealth, but then this awful tragedy happens, and suddenly she's in charge of the Washington Post, a job she felt she had no business doing.
Okay, just look at this timeline. What's so wild here is how it just never stopped. This wasn't just one bad day. We're talking about a nearly 20-year-long trial by fire. Think about it. The President of the United States, Nixon, was actively trying to destroy her company. Her own employees were wearing these horrible shirts saying her husband shot the wrong Graham. Wall Street thought she was a joke. Seriously, any one of these things should have been enough to sink her, but she faced them all. And this brings us to such a critical point. Failure is that guest that shows up without an invitation, right? But the real question is, are you going to let it move in? See, the event itself is just a thing that happened. It's external. But it's our ego that rolls out the welcome mat. Ego is what turns a bad moment into your entire identity.
So when that setback hits, and it will, whether it's something huge like getting fired or a personal crisis that blindsides you, think of Malcolm X getting a 10-year prison sentence. Well, you're faced with this incredibly important choice about the time that follows.
And this choice is captured perfectly by this idea from the author Robert Greene: alive time versus dead time. So are you just going to sit there and wait? Let the clock tick down? That's dead time. Or are you going to make it alive time? Are you going to use every single second to learn, to act, to grow, to turn this thing you didn't want into something that serves you?
And Malcolm X is the ultimate example of choosing a lifetime. I mean, the man didn't just do time, he used it. He literally copied the entire dictionary word for word just to expand his vocabulary. Can you imagine? He basically turned the prison library into his own personal university. He walked in one person and walked out a completely different one. Powerful, articulate, a true leader. It just proves it's not the walls around you that matter, it's what you do inside them. And this quote from Booker T. Washington just nails it. Cast down your bucket where you are. It means stop waiting for the perfect moment or for someone to rescue you. Use what you have, right here, right now, no matter how bad things look. That's how you turn dead time into a live time.
Okay, but what if you do all that? You choose a live time, you work your tail off, you do everything you're supposed to, and you still fail? What then? This is where we need a really powerful shift in our thinking. And to understand it, we're going to look at one of the most underrated generals in all of history, a guy named Belisarius.
So check out this contrast. On one side, you have the ego, which is always screaming, "Where's my credit? I need to be recognized." And then you have the Stoic standard that Belisarius lived by. This guy literally saved the empire over and over again. And what did he get for it? A paranoid emperor who punished him for being too successful. His ego could have had a field day, but for him, that wasn't the point. The point was the work. Just doing his duty to the best of his ability, that was enough.
The legendary coach John Wooden gives us a totally new scorecard for life. Forget the final score. Forget what the newspapers say. He says real success is just peace of mind. It's that quiet satisfaction you get from knowing you did your absolute best. You gave every single thing you had. When you measure success that way, it's a win that no one can ever take away from you.
So when failure hits, our ego tends to freak out. It goes into panic mode. And when it's panicking, it makes us do things that turn a simple mistake into an absolute disaster. The book points out two huge traps we fall into. First, we just keep digging the hole we're already in. And second, we start filling that hole with hate. It's a pretty simple question, right? When you find yourself in a hole, what's the first rule? Stop digging. Everybody knows that. It's so obvious. And yet,
It's a rule our ego just cannot stand, and ignoring it can lead to total ruin. And this is that fork in the road, perfectly illustrated by these two guys. You've got John DeLorean. His car company was a total flop, but his ego just wouldn't let him accept it. So he kept digging. How? By trying to fund it with a massive cocaine deal. He went from a business failure to a federal crime. Then you have Steve Jobs. Getting fired from Apple, the company he started, was a massive public failure. But he stopped digging. He took the hit and went and started something else. He learned, he grew, and that set the stage for the greatest comeback story in modern business.
The other big trap our ego sets for us is hate. And there's a huge paradox here. Look at William Randolph Hearst. He was convinced Orson Welles' movie, Citizen Kane, was making fun of him, so he used his massive media empire to try and completely destroy it, erase it from existence. And what happened? His obsessive, hateful campaign against the film is the very reason we still talk about it today. It's what cemented its legendary status.
So what's the alternative to that corrosive hate? Well, Frederick Douglass shows us. He was once forced to ride in a train's baggage car, and someone came up to him to apologize for the degradation of it all. But Douglass just flat out rejected the idea. He said, "They cannot degrade Frederick Douglass." He understood that the only people being degraded were the ones committing the injustice. He refused to pick up the burden of their hate.
And that's the thing you have to understand. Hate isn't a weapon you use against others. It's a poison you drink yourself. It's this heavy burden that just eats you up from the inside. It's what Martin Luther King Jr. taught. The ultimate power move isn't getting revenge on the people who hurt you. It's finding the freedom that comes from just letting it go. So after all this, what's the big idea we need to hold on to? It's basically a mantra for your entire life, for every single phase, whether you're aspiring, succeeding, or failing. The goal is always to push forward with strength and purpose, not with ego. Do that, and you guarantee that any failure is just a chapter, not the end of the story. It's a lesson, never a life sentence.
And let's leave it with this powerful idea from Martin Luther King Jr. This whole struggle against ego, it's not a one-and-done kind of thing. It's not a battle you win and then it's over. He called it a civil war going on inside all of us. And every single day, you're making choices. You're deciding which side gets stronger. So the real question the book leaves you with is a personal one. In that constant civil war inside your own head, which side is going to win today?